your growth. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
We're talking with Rihanna Wickett at Elevate Performance Physical Therapy with an Elevate Performance Health Minute. So if somebody has an athlete, Rihanna, who they suffer a concussion, they come and see you, what can you do for them?
We want to see them as soon as possible to make sure that we can make their return to sport as safe as possible. So we can look at proprioception, balance, vestibular work, and cervical strength.
When they try to get back up to speed, you said a treatment plan, very important as they return to sport.
Making sure that the athlete has a skilled plan moving forward so that they don't return to sport way too early, making sure that the return to contact is an appropriate timing.
And the goal of that is you do not want to have another concussion getting back to it too early.
Correct. If we have another concussion too early, the athlete is at a huge risk of further problems down the road, including anything with their school or memory or continuous headaches.
For concussion treatment, get started at elevateperformancesd.com.
Looking for a great place for a pregame meal that really satisfies? Or maybe you want a place to take your all-star after the game. Or you're looking for a place to enjoy a delicious meal while watching your favorite team on the big screen TV. Valley Sports Bar and Grill has all the bases covered for all those things and more. Top-notch, friendly, and attentive service. Wall-to-wall big screen TVs with all the big games. And the absolute best wings in Rapid City. Valley Sports Bar. Make it your place. 1865 Valley Drive, Rapid City.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Of the NFL season, kickoff from the Windy City, coming up at 8:15 Eastern Time. Bears president Kevin Warren sending a letter to their fan base today, looking forward to this season, and also saying that they are committed to building a stadium in suburban Chicago and not downtown Chicago. Bills got a win last night against the Ravens, but during that game, a Buffalo Bills fan was seen shoving multiple Ravens players during a touchdown celebration, including Lamar Jackson, who retaliated with his own shove. ESPN reports that fan has now been banned indefinitely from all NFL stadiums. Giants head coach Brian Daboll says the team will stick with Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback for Week 2 against the Cowboys. Saints safety Julian Blackmon has a torn labrum in his shoulder, according to the NFL Network, and would be done for the season if he needs surgery. Phillies placing Trey Turner and Alec Boehm on the injured list. I'm Dan Beyer.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, welcome in. We're ready to go back on a Reaction Monday. Hope you had a nice weekend. It had to be a great weekend, did it not? It had to be a great weekend. Full football weekend, high school to college to the NFL. It was back, and I finally had like an open weekend to just sit down, relax, watch some football. It was amazing. I kind of talked my wife into that yesterday. I was like, hey, I get to watch football. And I watched a lot Saturday. I watched a lot yesterday. We're out of the gate, and it's always a great day in South Dakota. We know that. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back on Fox Sports Radio, the Nate Brown Show. Welcome in. And again, thanks for being here Monday. Hope your day's going solid. Let's get a good guest lineup and get popping. A lot of football tonight, and we will talk high school to the NFL. We got Vikings-Bears tonight. Let's get into this thing. Coming up tonight from the Twin Cities, Thor Nystrom is on. He covers the Vikings for Score North, NFL draft analyst as well for Fantasy Life. So Thor Nystrom on a preview of J.J. McCarthy's debut against the Bears tonight in Chicago. Thor Nystrom coming up from the Twin Cities, talking Vikings. We'll get to it. We will go to Jason Andera every Monday on the Nate Brown Show. Jandy stops by. It's our high school football hitter and our South Dakota Power 5 poll. Look at the new poll and who's on top. Jason Andera coming up from SDPB Sports live from Sioux Falls. National NFL writer Frank Schwab on Week 1, almost in the books after tonight. Frank Schwab's in from Yahoo Sports. He's on tonight. And a brand new guest in, Cody Roark, Broncos insider, milehighsports.com. He has a podcast every day, Broncos fans, called Locked On Broncos. Cody Roark on tonight from Denver, milehighsports.com. Packed on a Monday. Welcome in. If you want to be a part of the show, I get you on. 605-720-1067 is our number. 605-720-1067. Lock that one in. It's the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, powered by the Pizza Ranch at 3809 East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. Tonight, drop by the Pizza Ranch in Brandon. Great location there, and 2 locations in Rapid City. It's the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line open and ready. Text the show, 605-720-1067. Barron's Wilson text line open tonight, 605-720-1067. Let's get a question of the day out of the gate right away on the Nate Brown Show. Let's throw it out for tonight. Vikings football coming up. And Vikings fans, I want your feedback on this Bears matchup tonight. I don't love being overreactive guy. I don't love saying, "Oh, you have to absolutely win this game." But I'm gonna pull back here as the Vikings get going tonight. Vikings fans, if you lose tonight on Monday Night Football to the Bears, and I know it's a road game. I understand. On the road, in the division, you're going to start. I mean, you can make all of these excuses that you want. But if you lose tonight, what is your honest reaction? Can you tell anything from this first game tonight? Meaning, this is a game the Vikings should win. The Bears have been in the bottom of the division, and people think the Vikings could have a great year. The big question mark tonight's J.J. McCarthy. I get it. But if you lose tonight against the Bears, doesn't that feel like a really bad thing? Doesn't that feel like a really bad thing? It's kind of like how I looked at it yesterday as I was watching my Broncos. And I'll get to this coming up, but you know I will. I was watching yesterday. I never thought the Broncos would lose. You know, we get the Broncos in South Dakota, and it's great to watch. Denver, don't you think? We get the game, and it was ugly, but I never thought the Broncos would lose. And I thought, if they actually lose this game to the Tennessee Titans in Denver, this would be a disaster. I don't think that's going to be as bad tonight. I'm not going to compare it if the Vikings were to lose to the Bears on the road, but here's where I think it's a really bad deal. If the Vikings lose tonight, I have them winning the division. And maybe I'm just clueless. It wouldn't be the first time. I've got the Vikings winning the division. You lose a game like this tonight, that stuff's going to start going out the window. And I watched how the Packers looked yesterday. Look out. Not so sure about the Lions now, but who knows there. You just can't lose to the Bears. This is the type of series you have to sweep. Well, what do you mean? They're on the road. It's a rookie, essentially J.J. McCarthy, his first game. This is going to be tough. If you want to win the division and be a contender in the NFC, this is a game you just have to win. And I usually don't do that first game out of the gate. But I picked them to win the division, so my reaction tonight if the Vikings lose, it is a bad loss. The Lions losing yesterday to the Packers, that's not anything. I know it matters in the division, but that's not a red flag. Maybe it's how they lost. They got beat down pretty good, right? Got dominated pretty good. So maybe you can look at that for the Lions, but I'm not hitting the panic button. And I'm going to tell you right now, tomorrow, everybody, if the Vikings lose tonight at Chicago, that's a team you have to beat. The Bears have been not much for a long time. And so you have to win, and you have to sweep the Bears if you're going to be a division winner in the NFC North. So I'm going to mark this up tonight. Huge, huge game. Have to win it if the Vikings want to be the team that we think they can be. And I think they can be really, really good. A loss to the Bears opening game, that would be tough. And everybody will try and make excuses. Oh, at Chicago, on the road, JJ's first game. Here we go. Don't make the excuses. You got to win this game against the Bears. Okay, you tell me, if the Vikings lose tonight, what's your honest reaction? Terrible loss, you got to have it? or it's really not going to be that big a deal, a long season left, okay? My question of the day, I'll throw it out to the audience on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Fox Sports Radio, Vikings football coming up. You tell me, 605-720-1067. That's how you get in touch with us on the Barron's Wilson text line, 605-720-1067. Text line open. If the Vikes lose to the Bears tonight, your reaction is terrible loss, it's a bad one, or not a big deal. And I can't say that. I cannot say not a big deal. This is a big one tonight. 54% of the audience voting so far says not a big deal. It's a big deal. This is the Bears here. I'm not going to be, we think the Bears are going to be some world beater? Not me. I've never said that for a long time. We got some Bears fans that have chimed in over the years here. I haven't been a believer in the Bears. Oh, they got Ben Johnson now. Okay, that's nice. It's his debut as well. So, as a head coach. So, I think it's a bad loss for the Vikes. And the only reason I say that, I preface it with, if you think they're going to be a real deal team, which I do, the Packers aren't going to be losing to the Bears, for example, right? The Packers are not going to be losing to the Bears. That's a correlation there. 54% of you say not a big deal. 46% of you say it would be a horrible loss for the Vikings tonight. I agree. Listener text coming in. I think the Vikings have to win this game. Listener text 605-720-1067. How you be a part of the conversation. Let's see. Vikings need to win tonight. They made a decision to stay with J.J. McCarthy, and if that's their quarterback, then they need to win these games. Listener text, Nate, you're slowly agreeing with me that there shouldn't be any divisional games in the first month of the season. First month of the season is basically the preseason. No teams in tip-top shape. I don't know about that. I don't know. I just don't like the division game being played in Brazil the other night. I mean, that was just stupid. Chargers, Chiefs, that was dumb. Absolutely crazy. Vikings fans chime in on the text line. How bad would you feel if the Vikes lose tonight? Nate, Vikings fan here after seeing how Aaron Rodgers played. I wish the Vikings would have got him. Yeah. Don't bring up old wounds for me. Don't bring up old wounds. I said the Vikings should have given him a shot, but I'm all in now. We'll see how good J.J. McCarthy is. And get ready. Not only will we have excuses tomorrow, the Vikings fans say, oh, J.J.'s first game is on the roads. The Bears are going to be better. Look, the Bears might be pretty good. I'm going to hear all this tomorrow. Then you're going to hear every throw J.J. makes tonight. There's going to be bad ones. There's going to be good ones. Let's try and rein it in tonight. Let's rein it in, see how J.J. does. Let's give him the full game, okay? 54% of you say it's not a big deal if you lose to the Bears tonight. That is amazing. Okay, if you want in, I'll get to the text line, 605-720-1067, the Nate Brown Show question of the day. How bad of a loss would it be for the Vikes tonight? I think a bad one. I think you got to have it. Absolutely have to have it. If you're going to win the division, you got to sweep the Bears. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it's felt like over the years. Okay, let's go to my team yesterday. So, my Broncos are 1-0. Did you see this? They beat the Tennessee Titans. And let me just get this out of the way. The Denver Broncos defense is unreal. Okay? Now, they were going up against Cam Ward. This guy might be okay, but first game out of the gate there had some drops. They didn't open it up a ton until they had to. The Tennessee Titans, what they have, 134 yards? I mean, it was lights out. They had like 1 yard the entire second half, one positive yard the entire second half. So Broncos defense, absolutely lights out. And I think they'll be that good in a lot of games. So I've seen this team before. I've been a Broncos fan my entire life. And the past decade, a lot of these years when we haven't had a quarterback, we have had a defense. And the last 2 years now, really, really good. I mean, off the charts good. Okay? And now I watch them, and it's the same type of story. It's the same type of story because the offense still is not good enough. That's why Sean Payton came in. That's why we brought Sean in, to fix the offense. The offensive genius to draft the quarterback to get this done. Last year they took strides, but I've told you on this program, they played a soft schedule last year. So what I'm telling you is, you can tell right out of the gate from a game like yesterday, the Broncos offense is not at a great level. The Broncos offense is not at a competitive level against really good teams. We beat the Titans. I'm happy with it. Defense just lights out. It was unbelievable yesterday. Fun to watch the Broncos defense. But Sean Payton's not the defensive guy. He's getting paid big bucks to be the offensive guy. And so I'm going to tell you this. I got 3 problems with Sean Payton because I don't like guys just saying, well, Sean this, Sean that. But I've been given some trash here on this program. I've been saying, hey, you got to trust Sean. You got to like Sean. Why don't you like Sean? I got 3 problems with Sean this year already. 3. Number 1, going into this season, you know what Sean Payton did? He blew up the hype machine on this team before the season even got going. I mean, I joked about it. I don't like having a team where the hype machine is going. The QB hype machine is going for second year of Bo Nix, and he could be a top 5 quarterback when it's all said and done in the league. You don't need to do that. I want to be a team that flies under the radar. You know what Kevin O'Connell does for the Vikings? Do you ever hear him saying stuff like that? That's the type of coach I want. I want Kevin O'Connell's attitude. We're just going to throw it out there. We're going to prepare. We're going to be ready. Kevin O'Connell could say a lot of stuff, and he doesn't say anything. It's a little bit of humility. I want to go under the radar. That's what I want from my team and coach. I don't want hype machine before the game to even start. That just sets you up for a mess. And so that's a big problem for me. I was talking about it before the season started. Here's the Broncos fans. 99% of them were the most optimistic ever. It was like, guys, can we chill just a little bit? Let's be a little more measured. Another problem with Sean. Now let's get into the games. Let's get into the game yesterday. The Broncos passed the ball 14 times in the first quarter. They ran the ball 3 times. This is the first quarter. Sean Payton, you can say what you want. He does not want to run the ball. He wants to light it up. This is the Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints deal all over again, and he wants to light it up. He does not want to run the ball. The Broncos have a proud tradition of running the ball. And this offensive line may be okay if you run the ball. He passed it 14 times and ran it 3 times in just the first quarter. And then you could say this, hey, what about later? They ran it later when he had to, and they made the best plays in the fourth quarter in the running game. But Sean only ran the ball when he really, really had to. And even then he didn't really want to do it. He was ahead most of the time, and he was still passing it 40 times. The Broncos should have shortened the game, not pass. So that's a big problem. Sean's got to get a grip on this when it comes to the offensive play calling. He's just trying to pass it, and then he's got all these different personnel groupings. We got guys coming in and out every single play. Is it just me? I watch the Broncos. I watch a lot of games. I don't see a bunch of personnel groupings coming in and out for other teams. I mean, you tell me, guys. I mean, the Broncos are shuffling tight ends and in and out and running backs, and it's all over. I don't see that happening all the time. Let's watch tonight. Let's see if Kevin O'Connell sends in a new personnel group every play. And Kevin's pretty good on offense last time I checked. Finally, number 3 with Sean. And this is serious. He just outthinks everything. He's a smart guy. I get it. He knows more about football than I'll forget. I mean, he knows the game. I understand it. Well, then why am I sitting here up by 8 points, under a minute left, and it's 4th and 8, and Sean Payton goes for it on the Titans' 36-yard line. I mean, I was absolutely stunned. I hadn't even had a beer yet yesterday. I didn't even have a beer yet. I was what? Am I soused? What is he doing? They throw up a prayer and they turn it over, and good luck the Broncos. It's good they had a great defense and the Titans were terrible. Otherwise, he gave the ball to him under a minute, 36-yard line, when you could have punted it deep, or better yet, just kick the field goal with Will Lutz. If you make it, the game's over. You're up by 11 with under a minute. It's over. Instead, you go for it. You don't get it. Now the team gets it there. He says, hey, I didn't want to scoop and score on a blocked field goal. Well, just stop out thinking everything. Just make the field goal. Just make the field goal. Sean Payton blows up the hype machine. Lackluster offense. Bad play calling. Not good play from Bo Nix. Outthinks everything. Could have blew it yesterday on the 4th and 8. This wasn't 4th and 2 in the fourth quarter. It was 4th and 8. Oh, yeah, we had a play there. It was guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed on 4th and 8 in the NFL. Sparky, if you got a good team, you better start getting with it, because the Broncos won't beat good teams like that yesterday. Thor Nystrom's in, talking Vikings, Bears, and more. Fantasy Life and Score North from the Twin Cities coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
At Ace, your backyard is right in our backyard. So when you need to feed your grass, remove the weeds, or wrangle those leaves, go to the best place that delivers on top brands like Ego, Toro, and Steel. No warehouse store can match the convenience of your locally owned neighborhood Ace. So stop on by. You can also order online for curbside pickup or get what you need delivered. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their lawn care. At participating stores.
Looking for a big new game to play? Well, there's no game bigger than the new dino-sized Jurassic Park scratch ticket from the South Dakota Lottery, which gives you a chance to win up to $50,000 instantly. And if that weren't enough, you can enter for a chance to win an exciting trip to beautiful Hawaii, where you could win up to $1 million. So get down to your local lottery retailer today and welcome to Jurassic Park. Must be 18 years or older to play. Please play responsibly.
Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer from Denny Menholt Toyota. Use your phone. It's fast and easy. Pull up our website, click on Value Trade-In, scan your VIN, and tell us about your car. You are on your way to a no-hassle, no-commitment cash offer on your vehicle in under 5 minutes. Bring your vehicle and your Kelley Blue Book Instant Cash Offer to Denny Menholt Toyota and get cash or trade-in credit today. See you soon at Denny Menholt Toyota, Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Slight chance of thunderstorms this afternoon, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 85. North winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight, lows dip down to about 59. Slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 84. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 76.
Collins Siding has been the region's premier window siding, door, and gutter installation specialist since 1974. They use only the highest quality materials and never compromise on their workmanship. Collins Siding is licensed, bonded, and their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
Imagine this, a bank that is committed to you, that understands your needs, your values, and your growth. No more settling for the status quo. Pioneer Bank and Trust offers tailored solutions, innovative services, and a team of experts dedicated to your success. You deserve more attention and more support from your bank. Don't settle. Pioneer. Pioneer Bank and Trust. Local.
Pioneer Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Get away from it all in the great outdoors for lasting family memories with a new or pre-owned RV from Dakota Discount RV. We make your RV experience fun and easy by providing you with a quality recreational vehicle, competitive pricing, and professional sales and service. Our large inventory of fifth-wheelers, travel trailers, toy haulers, and live-in horse trailers allows us thousands of dollars compared to most dealers. Stop by and see us at Dakota Discount RV, 3330 East Mall Drive across from Cabela's and on JB Road, Blackhawk.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, a Reaction Monday. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Broncos are 1-0. It was iffy. Sean Payton's got to be better. I mean, he's getting paid big bucks, guys. He's getting paid big bucks. He was supposed to be the man for the Broncos. He's got to be better. We hyped it up big time going into the season. I was scared of that. I said that many times here. I was scared of that, and the hype machine was crumbling yesterday against the Titans. Broncos defense saves them big time, and that might be the same story that we've seen over the years. Great elite defense, and the offense has not had much. It was bad yesterday. Let's go to Thor Nystrom, NFL draft analyst, college football, fantasy life. Also talks Vikings. He's in the Twin Cities. Vikings in Chicago tonight. Monday Night Football coming up. Thor, good to have you, man. How are you?
Happy J.J. McCarthy Day. See you, Nate Brown.
Here we go. You've been telling me J.J. McCarthy's going to be the guy. I'll get into that, but let's go into some stuff yesterday. Packers. Did that jump out to you beating the Lions like that?
It legitimized them for sure. Legitimized the Packers as a Super Bowl contender. I think the other huge takeaway there is what do we have from the Lions this year? We all figured that they were going to take a step back. I was one of the folks that predicted the Lions would miss the playoffs, but even pessimistic folks like me were about them this season. We're watching the TV like, that team is worse than I thought it was going to be. So I don't know how the Lions pick up the pieces with the two new coordinators there. They look discombobulated and listless the whole game. But yeah, the Packers, you got to tip your hat to them. And Lions, it's time to pick up the pieces real quick because your schedule does not get any easier.
Okay, so let's go to this game tonight. I started my show with the question of the day for the audience. I said, hey, Vikings fans, if you lose tonight, how big of a deal is that? Because we're talking opening game. This is JJ's first game. But in order to be an NFC North winner, I've got them winning the North. You got to sweep the Bears. So how key is tonight, do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think that's right. Yeah, you need to go out there and get a win. It's a team that holds a lot of intrigue and mystery to a lot of folks because obviously a lot of people haven't seen J.J. McCarthy play football before, and so that's I mean like you have sort of that air of mystery, but it's a really big deal I think for the Vikings to go out there and play well tonight and get that win for the reasons that you stated. There's playoff spots that are open for the taking there, and for a team that invested so much money into the roster this offseason, they obviously not only want to be in the playoffs, they want to be contending for the division, and it starts this evening in Chicago.
What do you think Ben Johnson's going to do with the Bears, Caleb Williams? What do you think tonight?
That's interesting. We had some reports there this summer, this month, that the timing of that offense was off. We saw some of the manifestations of that. There was a report earlier this week about some of the dysfunction surrounding Caleb Williams in that building. A lot of it had to do with last year's staff, but there's been some friction with this one as well. I think that Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson is a marriage that is destined to fail. Ben Johnson is one of the he's a Hollywood writer that writes scripts that he expects his actors to read verbatim. He does not want you ad-libbing. Whereas Caleb Williams, he's the Larry David of football. He doesn't read your script. He goes out every single play and it's ad-libbing. He doesn't want to throw the ball on a timing concept 2 seconds after the snap. He wants to extend 3+ seconds. He wants to start running around. Receivers break off routes. I just think it's a bad fit. We've seen some reports to that that effect, and we'll end up seeing. But it's a tough task for them trying to get that thing off the ground, I think, in week one here.
Thor Nystrom's on tonight talking Vikings Bears. Follow him at ThorKU on X. A great follow, NFL analyst, Fantasy Life. So when you look at the Vikings and Kevin O'Connell, he hasn't said a ton. Kind of under the radar, J.J. McCarthy, low-key. I understand, this is his debut. What do you like about O'Connell's approach?
It's a holistic approach, the way that they took the development. They didn't want, to obviously put too much on JJ's plate initially, and you sort of had Kismet step in there with the injury in year one, so then you couldn't because he was out, with the meniscus surgery there. But, the way that they've sort of, had him come along slowly this summer, but also keep him away from some of the media stuff. And to your point, they're not the team, the coaching staff. You've heard very optimistic quotes and encouraging quotes, but not getting too underneath the curtain. They're not pulling up the hood of that car to show you inside. So, I think some of that adds to the air of mystery, but there is a lot of bullishness in that building about J.J. McCarthy. Tonight, we'll see. People need to keep in mind, J.J. McCarthy is the youngest starting quarterback in the NFL, and I think it's by like a year. He's like a year plus younger than Cam Ward, who was the first overall pick. JJ came out after 3 years in college, he declared. So it's a quarterback who's young. There are going to be mistakes, but the physical ability, it just is what it is. He's an elite athlete. He's got a bazooka for an arm, and he hasn't lost. You look at his high school career, you look at his college career. I believe it's 60-3 as a starter going back to high school when you add in the collegiate time that he had at Michigan. So it's a lot of optimism around here, but yeah, there is that air of mystery heading into tonight.
How good is Brian Flores? What do you expect this Vikings defense to look like this year?
Yeah, well, I think that's the storyline from tonight that people aren't talking enough about, because people are focusing on that sort of air of mystery around McCarthy and the Vikings offense and this sort of stuff. And then, as well, your Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams stuff. But the matchup of Flores against that Bears offense, where the timing might not be there today, here's what people need to keep in mind when you turn on that game tonight. There's only one offensive coordinator who has gotten Brian Flores' GOAT the last several years, every single game. That's Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's the one offensive coordinator out there that was consistently moving the ball and scoring on Brian Flores. People refer to him as like the Brian Flores antidote, Ben Johnson, because those Lions offense, they were just so good at exploiting the little windows of opportunity that Flores' defense will give you, because they're so chaotic, they're so aggressive. And the one thing I point to with the Lions in particular, they did these little dig routes to Amon-Ra St. Brown over the intermediary. They just pepper him with it, because you could find a little soft spot in there when the Vikings would send the heat. Brian Flores knows dang well what the sort of the book on him against Ben Johnson to this point. This is Brian Flores' golden opportunity to take down the one guy who has gotten him over and over and over again. He's had all offseason to prepare for this. You're facing this Bears offense where they don't know that offensive system very well yet, and in my view of it, some of them are not very good fits for what Ben Johnson wants to do. So that's going to be fascinating. Does Brian Flores send the heat all game long? Are we going to see some more dropping of the 8 with Caleb Williams, his prerogative of the high wire act and extending the plays? How is Brian Flores going to attack that? And knowing that their offense, the timing might not be there right away. Do you skew a little bit more conservative? Do you skew more aggressive? The outcome of this game will come down to that.
How good is Adam Thielen still? What are we going to see from him?
He was tremendous last year. The 10 games he was on the field, those 10 games per snap, he was more efficient than he had been in 4 or 5 years. He looked good last year. But you also are more than 2 calendar years older than the next oldest receiver in the entire NFL. We're starting to get into ancient territory, talking about a 35-year-old NFL receiver. But the two best things at Thielen's game, it's route running and ball skills. He doesn't drop the ball. He never has. He still isn't. And he obviously is that crafty route runner as well. in the first game, he's going to start tonight. You're starting opposite Jefferson. Vikings play a lot of 12 personnel. They have talked about how they want to move Thielen into the slot when they have their full complement of receivers. You're going to see him a bit more on the boundary in this game. I think when Addison comes back and then you kick Thielen into the slot and then he doesn't have to play as many snaps, you're probably going to see the best version of Thielen, but they need him these first 3 games because Jordan Addison is out and the receiving depth is not very good outside of that. So he's going to have to take on targets, and we'll just see how he does out there on the boundary with J.J. McCarthy, a quarterback, by the way, that he worked with each of the last 2 summers, Adam Thielen did, when he came home. So even when he's a member of the Panthers, of course, he'd come back here. Everybody knows Adam Thielen's from Minnesota and worked out with McCarthy each of the last 2 summers, and glowing things to say about him. So the chemistry should be decent. Obviously, Thielen knows Kevin O'Connell's offense as well, played in it previously, so you would expect the acclimation to go a bit quicker, but these first 3 games, he's going to have to assume a full workload.
I got to get your pick, man. What do you got? Vikings Bears tonight.
I'm going to say Vikings. I'm going to say Vikings 28, Bears 20.
28-20. Thor Nystrom putting it out there on the Nate Brown Show. Follow him at Thor KU. Great follow, Fantasy Life, and talks a lot of Vikings as well. Thor, good to have you, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Nate. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks a lot. Thor Nystrom from the Twin Cities. Follow him at Thor KU on Twitter and listen to his podcast. He's with Fantasy Life, NFL college football analyst. Thor Nystrom also does work for Score North out of Minneapolis. 28-20. Vikings over the Bears. Question of the day on the Nate Brown Show. If the Vikings lose tonight, what's your reaction? Horrible loss, or it's not a big deal yet? It is the Bears. You got to sweep these guys if you want to win that division. Packers going to be tough, I can tell that. Lions, we'll see. They've had the Vikings number lately. So you got to sweep the Bears. That's why I believe tonight is a huge one. 55% of the audience says it's not a big deal, just one game. 45% say it would be a terrible loss. The Nate Brown Show, inviting you on the text line, 605-720-1067. That's the Barons Wilson Lister text line for you. Quick timeout, Jason Andera, every Monday, talking South Dakota high school football. I've got a question of the day when it comes to one high school football team in the state. That's coming up. Jason Andera with SDPB Sports on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors. The customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the winter time, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors. The customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside. You don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on, and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
from Anytime Auto Sales. I see new models of stand-up and teardrop campers on your lot.
Yes, you do. We're proud to feature the new SGC Armor line of campers from Bontrager Outdoors. Bang for the buck, there's just nothing out there like these new super cool Armor campers and Bontrager teardrops.
And the suspension these campers have? Wow, so impressive.
All our campers come standard with the off-road package. Bontrager and Armor just ramped boondocking up another notch. And right now, you'll get the best price all year on these 2026 ultra-light, ultra-beefy, option-loaded campers and teardrops.
You gotta check out these new look campers, people. The new designs are fantastic, and so many options for their size.
And so many options for towing. No need for a diesel or a big truck. These only weigh around 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, so they can be towed by almost any rig.
Check out these new 2026 Bontrager and SGC Armor campers, everyone. See anytime.com, and as always, at the corner of Highway 79 and East Minnesota.
Anytime Auto Sales.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
It is your sports, your show, The Nate Brown Show, back on a Reaction Monday, getting the week started. Thanks for being here. Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show live. Follow us on X. Watch the show live there, at Nate Brown Show. If you ever get out of radio range, just follow us on X. Watch the show live, at Nate Brown Show. You've got us there. Also, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, The Nate Brown Show, and you can subscribe to the show. You've got us live and archived there. Brand new guest coming up tonight, Cody Rourke, Broncos beat writer from Mile High Sports. He was covering the game yesterday. Broncos win. Not great. Not great. We'll take it. Week 1-0. I'll take it. It's got to be better. Got to be better for the hype train that they've been talking about. Cody Rourke coming up, Mile High Sports. Jason Andera is on every Monday on the Nate Brown Show talking South Dakota high school football. He's with SDPB Sports. Great coverage from Jason Andera on the show Game Time. He'll put it out each week. But before we talk high school football, Jason, welcome in. Are you ready for your Vikings tonight?
I am. This is a new era in Vikings football with J.J. McCarthy at the helm. I'm a Michigan fan, so this is a day I've been waiting for a long time.
Wow, so that's got to feel good for you. I always wanted, so here's what I wanted as a Broncos fan. They could have drafted Josh Allen back in the day.
Right.
And my brother played at Wyoming, so I have all these connections. I was ready to go, Jason. The Broncos are going to select Josh Allen. It would have been the best. Yeah. And anyway, that's another story now as you watch Josh Allen and the Broncos the last 10 years. But J.J. McCarthy, your guy at Michigan, now your guy with the Vikings, so this has to be, like, big.
I'm one of the J.J. McCarthy fans from long ago. I saw this guy. Everybody says he's a winner, but it's different than that. He makes the biggest plays in the biggest moments, and he does it so calmly. And I can't wait. I think Jim Harbaugh held him back a little bit passing-wise. Mm-hmm. We're going to see a different J.J. McCarthy in the pros. I'm not saying like top quarterback right away, but I think he's a top 15 quarterback this year, and the team does well.
Look at that. Jason Andera with the J.J. McCarthy endorsement in the Vikings tonight. Okay, let's get into South Dakota high school football. Here's a big one right away. When you saw Sioux Falls Lincoln put up 50 pretty quickly on Sioux Falls O'Gorman, it wasn't like in a half like against Stevens, but Lincoln put up another 50 spot. What are you thinking about Sioux Falls Lincoln?
I'm saying uh-oh to the rest of 11 AAA, because they not only just put up those kind of points, but they look so smooth doing it. And Brody Schaefer had another huge week, and they've got two guys who might be two of the best receivers in Lewis Nikasi and Mikey Roach. And the line, I wasn't sure how good the line would be, but watching them, they always dominate up front, and they get better as the game goes. They make it look pretty darn easy. I just ran into their offensive coordinator the other day at the gas station. I said, "Are you going to give anybody a chance this year?" And he kind of joked, but honestly, the way they're playing offensively, it's really scary for the rest of the league. Defensively, we're still not exactly sure how good this Lincoln team is, but when you average, 55 points a game through 2 weeks, and you're right, and they've done most of their damage in the first two quarters of those two games, watch out.
Yeah, I looked at it. I thought, okay, Rapid City Stevens is in rebuild mode in the first week, and I expected a blowout there. But then on Saturday, I saw Lincoln go for another 50 against Sioux Falls O'Gorman, who already beat Harrisburg. So I threw it out there. I asked the audience, is Sioux Falls Lincoln, are they going to go undefeated? That's kind of a loaded question. Brandon Valley looks good too, right? But you're telling me that Lincoln, if they can do that to O'Gorman, seems like a cut above other offenses.
Yeah, their receiver, Akasi, I think went 7 catches, 218 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And he's kind of their number 2 guy. So they've got plenty of weapons on this offense. And Brody Schaefer, to me, is in a different league right now. And he showed it a little bit last year as a sophomore, but this year as a junior, his head is just above the game a little bit right now. You're right. Brandon Valley, let's not forget about them. This is a team, I think, that's loaded up and down their roster. Their passing has gone a little bit smoother than they were anticipating. They've got a quarterback that can throw in Briggs Knutson, too. So let's hold off on the undefeated talk yet. Even though Lincoln won it last year, they did lose in the middle of the season. And this is a team, I think, that has very similar promise, but AAA is tough.
All right, Jason Andera talking high school football. Sioux Falls Lincoln putting up unbelievable numbers here early on. They're the number 1 ranked team in the South Dakota Power 5 poll in AAA football. Brandon Valley's number 2. The rest of AAA, who's the best out of Harrisburg, Sioux Falls, Jefferson, O'Gorman? O'Gorman already beat Harrisburg, but it was tight. Who's going to come out of that fray?
I really think this Jefferson team has a chance to be a contender up in there with Brandon Valley and Lincoln. I was worried about their offense a little bit, but the way they've really commanded the spread offense, and they rotate a couple of different quarterbacks, mostly their sophomore getting it done at quarterback right now, and they're moving the ball with the big boys up front. That's, to me, if you can beat people up front, that gives you a chance to play with the big boys, and I think Jefferson has that over O'Gorman and Harrisburg, who are good teams, but I think Jefferson on both sides of the line get it done up front.
So Rapid City Central beat Sioux Falls Roosevelt in the opening week. That got people's attention. Then they play a good Double-A team in Spearfish, and they lose up in Spearfish by a touchdown. So what did you think of that?
Well, it was just a couple of big plays. Rapid City Central, I thought, owned the first half. They only came away with field goals, though, instead of touchdowns, and that came back to bite them as they gave up, I think it was a 93-yard run or something to the quarterback, Thomas Hughes, out of Spearfish, and then late in the game gave up the go-ahead touchdown, which hurt them. But they are good. They're different. I've talked to Roosevelt's head coach, and he told me they're different. They're different this year. They've got big guys up front. Their quarterback and receiver connection is good with those brothers that can hook it up. And I'll tell you what, I think Rapid City Central has a chance to contend in the middle of the pack, which is saying something from where they've been in the last few years.
Rapid City Central plays Harrisburg this weekend, Saturday, in the Rushmore Bowl in Rapid City. Jason Andera is on tonight talking high school football. Follow him at 605 Jandy. Find him there, SDPB Sports. To Double-A, Pierre gets beat by Huron. So what is it? Is Pierre down or is Huron real?
A little bit of both. Pierre is down a little bit. They had some fourth down opportunities in that game to really solidify them and take the lead in that game, and they couldn't get those big plays. They just couldn't make the plays from quarterback where they've been able to do that in the past. And then really they had the game kind of won and threw the ball up at the end of the game, had a wide open receiver, and it just did not happen. It just didn't connect. So again, just a couple plays off. And this Huron team, let me tell you what, they've got some players. Their quarterback is nothing to sneeze at, that's for sure. And defensively, they made a pick six to win that game in the end, and they've got some ball hawks on that defensive side. So I voted Huron in the top 5. I didn't vote Pierre in the top 5 right now this week because I think I think Pierre needs some work to do. Not saying they're out of it, just like last year. They'll build up, and they might be in contention by the end of the year again. But right now, I've got Huron as a better team than Pierre.
The new South Dakota Power 5 football poll is out today here on the Nate Brown Show, talking to Jason Andera, high school football. I voted Yankton number 1. I think T area might be in that mix. Is that how you see it?
I've had T number 1 since the first vote of the year. Whether it was your poll or whether it was the state poll, I think this T area team is back to their roots of just dominating up front, and then they've got real weapons to go with it. Some healthy players in the backfield and a new sophomore quarterback who's dynamic. So I think T is number 1, and that's why I think Spearfish is underrated, because Spearfish was able to hang with T in that second half, and I think we're going to look back at that in a couple weeks and say, wow, this Spearfish team's better than we think. So I think this T area team is the team to beat. Yankton's there. They're close. But I really like the Titans.
Okay, in Class 11A, Jason, I saw that Del Rapids-Madison game went down to the wire. Madison wins by 1. So Del Rapids is playing Rapid City Christian this week. Del Rapids still a top 5 team in A to you?
Yes, they're good. They're very good. Very good. Good running back and another Stubbe brother running the ball for them. Their line is very good, but this Madison team, they're the opposite of Del Rapids. They were able to spread this thing out and make a couple of big plays, and they made a couple of big special teams plays and played well enough on the defensive side that they can hang with some of those tough teams like Del Rapids. So to me, that was more of a showcase of how good this Madison team is this year. But I think Del Rapids is right there with them, and I think Del Rapids should be able to get things done against Rapid City Christian without much of a problem this week.
Yeah, Rapid City Christian kind of struggling. They've had a tough schedule, but kind of struggling out of the gate. Jason Andera is on before I let him run. Sioux Falls Christian's the number 1 ranked team. You get all first-place votes in the South Dakota Power 5 poll, and 11A for Sioux Falls Christian. 11B, St. Thomas More hangs on to the number 1 spot in the Power 5 poll. Elk Point Jefferson second, but the voters are really split. St. Thomas More still impress you?
Very much so. St. Thomas More is very good, and in the other poll, they're not getting much respect, and I think that's a shame because St. Thomas More really, to me, they're better than Wagner and Winter and those type of teams. I think the only teams that you can mention in the same breath is Elk Point Jefferson right now, and Sioux Valley. I think played with them early, and Sioux Valley by the end of the year will be in that mix. But to me, those are your 3 teams in 11B. And St. Thomas More still has a lot more upside. I mean, this is a good team. They're functioning. They're hitting on some cylinders, but they're not hitting on all cylinders yet. And I think they have even more potential to get more dynamic on the offensive side. But there's definitely some room to grow for the Cavaliers. They're really good this year.
Okay, when you look at 11-man football for this upcoming week, is there a game you've got circled that you're going to be looking at on Game Time?
For sure. This is the number 1 versus 2 matchup in 11A with Lennox and Sioux Falls Christian going at it, a rematch of last year's championship, and Lennox kind of upset the Sioux Falls Christian. And we'll see if there's a little revenge factor this year. There's some people that think Lennox hasn't hit their stride yet, but they'll get a real test. So that's one in 11-man football I really have my eye on.
Jason Andera is on tonight. Every Monday, we'll get him recap the weekend, take a look at the week ahead. SDPB Sports High School Football with Jandy on Twitter at 605 Jandy, and the show is on YouTube and SDPB Game Time. Jason, always great. Thanks a lot.
Good stuff. Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate you. Jason Andera on tonight, high school football analyst for South Dakota Public Broadcasting, live from Sioux Falls. Good stuff, breaking down 11-man football across the board. Yeah, you know, we have the South Dakota Power 5 poll. This is a poll we put together. Matt Kearney does a great job of this. There's people across the state, West River, East River, radio, broadcast, print, all of these guys that cover the games. St. Thomas More is the number 1 ranked team in 11B in the Power 5 poll today for back-to-back weeks now. And the other, you know, they call this other poll a media poll. And you know why they're not top ranked there? It's because there's too many East River bias, too much East River. That's why you got to spread the love around. Let's get both sides, both perspectives, because St. Thomas More's been quality wins, some quality wins for the Cavaliers. I've got them at number 1, St. Thomas More in 11B. Taking a quick time out of the Nate Brown Show. So there was a college game that I watched from start to finish on Saturday morning. And we got to find out what's happening with this player. I don't know if it's the player, actually. I think I've got another answer of what happened in Iowa coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now, opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Summer. Nothing beats it. The food, the drinks, the atmosphere. Whether you're soaking up sunshine on the patio or hanging inside with friends, Murphy's brings the good vibes all season long. Amazing food, cold beers, summer cocktails, live music on the patio, a crew that treats you right, and yes, even a late night menu every Friday and Saturday night. When you're thinking summer in Rapid City, there's only one move, Murphy's. Visit murphyspubandgrill.com. Murphy's, a Rapid City icon.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
This is the Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to the Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here on a Monday. The Nate Brown Show live, Fox Sports Radio. Follow us on X and watch us live at Nate Brown Show. We are on X at Nate Brown Show. Welcome in if you're watching there. Good stuff. Great guests coming up this next hour. Brand new guest we haven't had on, a really good Broncos guy. Cody Rourke is on tonight from Mile High Sports, Broncos beat writer. His podcast is Locked On Broncos. Want to hear Cody's breakdown of the Broncos' struggles yesterday on the offensive side against the Titans. If that was anybody else but the Titans, the Broncos are going to lose yesterday. So that's my issue with it. That's my issue with it as a Broncos fan. They lose if that's anybody but the Titans. Worst team in the NFL, arguably. Cody Rourke's coming up, milehighsports.com. Frank Schwab's on the way tonight, national NFL writer before Monday Night Football. We'll talk to him. Vikings, Bears coming up. Frank Schwab's on the way from Yahoo Sports. All right, listener text coming in on my problem with Sean Payton. I said Sean Payton created the hype train before the season even started. And my opinion is I don't want that as a fan. I don't want that with my organization. Oh, we're going to be good. We're going to be great. The quarterback's going to be great. We got Super Bowl. You can have optimism. You can have positivity. You can have expectations. You don't need to be so public. That's what I mean. It's just out there. What good is that? You could talk about that in the locker room within your organization. The guys know Sean Payton. He's been a good locker room guy. Players like him. So you don't have to throw out the bulletin board stuff that we're going to be the real deal, and then the media comes in for your training camp, and, the Broncos are going to be the team. The Broncos. That's the type of team I don't want. It's the hype team. I want the nobody saying much, positive attitude, good optimism, good coaching. I want more like the Kevin O'Connell approach. Listener text coming in from a Cowboys fan. Listener text, Nate, as a Cowboys fan, I like the confidence Sean Payton has. It's awesome. Could work very well for this type of Broncos team. There's a lot of good passing teams around the league that struggled in their first game yesterday. Let's see. I think what the Broncos did yesterday is a smart way to start the season, plus they got the dub. Well, they got the dub, but it wasn't very smart along the way. I mean, there wasn't very many smart things they did yesterday, but they got the dub. The defense is unreal. I mean, the defense is absolutely unreal. Okay, speaking of a defensive struggle, I got to get into this. Because I've talked to this guy every week last season. We watched this guy win national championship games. We watched this guy make plays with his legs, make plays with his arm. He had a few hiccups along the way. It's going to happen. This guy is the FCS National Player of the Year. This guy's a national champion. Tough, strong, great leader, great character, unbelievable work ethic. And now he goes to Iowa, and everybody's trying to say, Mark Gronowski's just not very good. Yeah, Mark, he's just not very good. His numbers have struggled. So let's go to this. I watched this game Saturday morning, Iowa at Iowa State, and Mark Gronowski struggled. There's no doubt. He struggled in his first two games throwing the ball for a lot of yards. He only has 127 yards in two games through the air. And so people are trying to say, this Mark Gronowski thing, this is a bad deal. This is a bad experiment. It's just not going to work. A lot of the national guys, even the Iowa guys, they didn't see Mark Gronowski as we saw him. And you can't tell me at South Dakota State that he didn't play at a really high level. He played at a high level. They've seen him in Iowa, as a matter of fact, compete and get after it against Iowa. So it's not like this is Mark Gronowski all of a sudden fell off the cliff. So what I'm trying to say is eventually people have to know the Iowa offensive system, whatever they're doing, and whoever their offensive coordinator is any year, it just isn't prolific. This has to be something that people know now, right? Can you go back through and say any Iowa quarterback that just lit it up? How about Petrus? What a guy, what a player. How about Nate Stanley? I mean, those guys were pretty good. They didn't light it up comparatively across the board in college football. So that's what I'm telling you with the Mark Gronowski thing. People are saying, this is a Gronowski problem. I'm telling you, it feels like an Iowa offensive approach problem. They run it 3 yards in a cloud of dust, then we're going to try and pass it. I don't know the schemes. I don't know the routes. I don't know the positions. I don't know the personnel. I just know Iowa's offense has been stuck in the mud a long time. I know Iowa's offense has been stuck in the mud a long time. And so you can't tell me Mark Gronowski is all of a sudden not a good player. What is everybody that goes to Iowa at quarterback then? What happens? You tell me. Thanks for calling. You're live, and you go ahead.
Hey, Nate, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. What do you say?
Well, late in that game, he took 2 sacks on 2 consecutive plays. You got to throw the ball. I mean, you're in a must-win situation, or you got to get down for a field goal, and you know they're trying to rest the passer and sack you, and he gets sacked on 2nd and 3rd down.
Well, I'll give you one of those. I'll give you one of them. The last one wasn't great. Held on to the ball. There was one in that last series. He didn't have much time. So I'll give you one of those. No, you got to get rid of it. But you tell me, what happens at Iowa that they don't have good quarterback play? I mean, I can't figure it out.
Well, they're basically, obviously, they're run-oriented team always have. And I'm not an Iowa fan, obviously. I'm a big Husker fan. But all over the years, Iowa's just very conservative. They're not going to never let up the scoreboard. They're basically, we're going to run. We're going to run clock. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're
Yep.
Hold our penalties down, and we'll keep it a low-scoring game. And they always have good kickers, good special teams. They win a lot of games on special teams.
You are right on that. So that's the thing is you are right on this. So Iowa fans have to be used to winning like Kirk Ferentz wants to win, and they almost won the other day. And that was a bad offensive game. But now Iowa fans still say, no, we want great offense and a lot of yards from the quarterback. Well, the system's not going to do that. It's just not.
His passing looks a little off this year, too. He's throwing a lot of balls low, and I don't know why that is. I don't think it's on purpose, but I know the announcers during the game were talking about that, too. Like, the first couple games, he's throwing a lot of low balls where, receivers were open if he'd hit him in the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say tough start for him, no doubt. But there is something wrong with Iowa's offensive approach. Whether it's an OC, this OC, that OC, it's the Kirk Ferentz approach. Let's just try and not lose. I mean, they just try and stay in games, and they never light it up. I think there's a bigger issue than who the quarterback is. But I appreciate you.
They've never been an offensive juggernaut.
No, that's right. That is right.
Over many years.
Thanks for getting in.
Yeah, I don't know. They're paying him a lot of money. I know that.
Yeah, I'd take that. By the way, I got a listener reaction said, hey, Nate, did Mark make a mistake by going to Iowa? And I wanted to reply. I didn't reply yet. So I'll reply on the air. Did Mark Gronowski make a mistake by going to Iowa? They gave him a bunch of NIL money. So there's 2 things there. FBS, Big Ten opportunity, and NIL money. What do you think? Not a mistake. Not a mistake. I'm still with Mark Gronowski. I want to see this Iowa offense. I mean, it's like that stick meme. You got to do something. Do something. The offense, everybody that comes in at quarterback, they think, oh, this guy should be good. They all end up kind of doing the same thing. Why? The problem within the system, I think. I'm sticking with Mark. Mark's my guy. I'll take Mark Gronowski all day. By the way, here into the next hour, let's get going tonight on the Nate Brown Show. There is a quarterback in the NFL who just continues to prove people wrong every time. Every time. I'm going to get into that. And then, did you see the baseball lady at the Marlins game? We got to address this. The baseball lady at the Marlins game who got so upset that she lost the baseball. How should we handle that situation? That's coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Stock up and save on the toughest filters in the business during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. Not only will you get the best deal of the season on our very best filters, but you'll also find deep discounts on oil, fluids, grease, batteries, and more. Upgrade your filters during Wix Filters sale days at your local Auto Value Parts store. See store for official sale dates. Auto Value. We've got the parts. We've got the smarts.
It's time to hit the court at the Waikiki Fall Hoop Fest, November 7th through the 9th at the Box Elder Event Center. 3 days of non-stop basketball action as teams battle it out for bragging rights and glory. Divisions for boys and girls, grades 5th through 10th. Bring your game, bring your team, and bring the energy. And when the game's over, celebrate with special Courtyard by Marriott room rates that include Waikiki Water Park passes for even more fun. Don't sit on the sidelines. Register your team today at thebox.live.
If you want the peace of mind that your next pre-owned vehicle is the best it can be, you want Honda True. And you only find it at Danny Manholt Rushmore Honda. Our Honda certified pre-owned vehicles are thoroughly inspected and backed by 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, up to 2 complimentary oil changes, 24/7 roadside assistance, inspection report, and 3-day exchange. You simply can't buy the wrong vehicle. Search our inventory at honda-true.com or see us at Denny Manholt Rushmore Honda.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
That's my husband, Mr. Fix-It.
I got it! I ain't got it.
I told him we needed replacement windows for our house.
I am man!
I told him rather than go to a do-it-yourself store, we should contact Renewal by Andersen because they only do windows. They're experts, no subcontractors.
Hey, honey, did you know our electricity runs through all these little metal pipes? And yow!
You okay?
Yeah.
Renewal by Andersen, hassle-free, energy-efficient, low-maintenance windows with a professional, perfect fit.
The hole needs to be just a little larger.
Keeping your home warm in the winter, cool in the summer with their Fibrex windows.
I had no idea we had this much insulation in our walls. Honey?
Yeah?
I think it's time we call Renewal by Andersen.
Good call, Mr. Fix-It.
For a perfect fit, call 605-341-7831. Renewal by Andersen of South Dakota. 605-341-7831.
One more time.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, second hour ready to go. The Nate Brown Show is on. South Dakota Sports Talk Show back on a Reaction Monday. How was your weekend? Hopefully solid. Just a whole lot of football. You got to love that. Beautiful weekend in South Dakota. Great football over the weekend. Welcome in. The Nate Brown Show is on. We'll get some updates from great guests coming up before we get into Vikings football tonight. Cody Rourke's coming up from Denver, senior reporter on the Broncos for Mile High Sports. Cody Rourke is in. Brand new guest. We haven't had Cody on. Let's get his Broncos take on yesterday's opening win of the Titans. I just talked to a couple of guys, went down to the game. They just sent a text in. Coming back on the text line. So if you want to text the show, 605-720-1067. That's the Barron's Wilson Lister text line. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline also open. Same number. Call the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. We'll try and get you on. Frank Schwab's going to join us before the Monday Night Football hitter tonight. National NFL writer for Yahoo Sports. Frank is on as well. All right, let's go to what we watched last night. That was a dandy. Bills, Ravens. Now, I'm not going to be a ding-dong and say that, I picked the Bills. Well, I did our predictions on Thursday's show last week at BetMGM Sportsbook, our #1 sportsbook at Tin Lizzy. I did our season predictions, and if you missed it, I picked the Ravens to be the 2 seed in the postseason. The Bills to be the number 1 seed because I think they're going to win the AFC East and have a great record. So Bills 1 seed, Ravens 2 seed. Who did I pick to go to the AFC Championship and win it, though? The Ravens. So I think the Ravens, whether they got to go back to Buffalo in January or not, the Ravens are still my pick to win the AFC Championship. So I'm taking the Ravens, as a matter of fact, not only to win the AFC Championship, to win the whole thing. A little refresher from Thursday's show. So bookmark this. Ravens are your Super Bowl champions. And you're going to say, well, look at what they did last night. That was Meltdown City. The Ravens had that thing. Josh Allen just went crazy. And I love Josh Allen. You guys know this. And let me just point this out. Josh Allen continues to prove every national football media guy wrong about who he was, who he is, his ability, because everybody from Colin Cowherd to Chris Collinsworth, all these guys say he's awesome now. Oh, Josh Allen, there's just nobody. You've never quite seen anybody like him. His skill set, his ability, his this. They didn't say squat coming out of Wyoming. They talked about his inaccuracy. He played at a small school. Did he even do anything at Wyoming? I mean, the list goes on and on. And Josh Allen, I knew it. Not only did I watch him a ton at Wyoming, I watched him a ton live. He was a playmaker. He was an unbelievable competitor. And so I thought, you're not going to, he's not going to get millions and millions of dollars and change his persona. He's going to be a down-to-earth, great leader, quality teammate. The people at Wyoming, the teammates, loved him. So that's a huge thing for me. His teammates at Wyoming loved him. He was an absolute grinder, and I thought his character and leadership is what's going to take him if his ability is as good as I thought it was. So I was a Josh Allen fanboy from the start, not from the Colin Cowherd, Chris Collinsworth, and all these other guys. Oh, now Josh Allen's good, man. He's hey, thanks for playing, guys. Thanks for showing up and letting us in that Josh Allen's good. It's amazing. It's funny. He was really good last night, and that's, I believe, what separates him is his intangibles. The intangibles. Yes, he can sling it. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's big. All of that stuff. The intangibles, his character. Money didn't change his competitiveness, his preparation. He takes it serious. These are the things that people forget in pro sports. I really believe that. You're like, well, why is this guy great and this guy has all the talent, but he's not? There's little things missing. It's funny what happens when somebody gets $100 million. It's interesting. Some people change, some people don't. And I knew Josh was the guy that separated him, his character. And then you see his talent and the plays he made last night. I wasn't stunned. Like, I've seen it like a ton. I mean, the acrobatic stuff and the hero ball stuff. I saw that at Wyoming. He had to do that. I mean, there was some supporting cast there, but not like he's got in the NFL, right? So he had to do this stuff. So he just continues to prove everybody wrong. Everybody wants to say, I was on the Josh Allen train. Yeah, I knew that. You guys are full of it. Okay, let me get into this deal that popped over the weekend. Now, this is a look at our culture. This is a glimpse of our culture and our sports fan interactions. Like what's appropriate here? What would you really do? So if you want to check this out, you got to find it. If you're a sports fan, I hope you've seen this. There was an incident at the Marlins-Phillies game over the weekend. This game was in Miami. The Phillies were playing, so they had Philly fans down there. Marlins fans, there's nobody there anyway. So Phillies fans were in the ballpark. There was a home run that was hit. A Phillies lady, female fan, dropped the ball. It was a home run. She dropped the ball. It went down below her row, and a Phillies dad picked it up and walked it down the aisle and gave it to his son. And he thought it was fair game. The ball was loose. She didn't secure it. I watched this over and over. She did not secure it. She dropped it down below her row. And you know, baseball stadiums, hey, it goes between the row. Now she can't get over the seat, and the dad grabs it. He's got it. He gave it to the son. So what does this lady do? She goes down that row, and I mean reams that guy. She says, this was my ball. I had it. You took it out of my hands, which isn't the case. But the dad ends up getting the ball out of his son's glove and giving it back to this lady, and a full-grown adult. And so this is the look into our culture. I said, what's worse here? The female adult who cries and whines and wants the ball so bad. It's a baseball at a Major League Baseball game. She wants the ball so bad she makes the kid give it to her from his glove. Or is it so terrible that our culture also exposes her on every social media channel? So now the lady's like famous. She's even on South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. Can you believe it? All the way from Miami to, you know, everything's recorded, everything's on. It just exploded over the weekend. So I got to ask you, I'm going to put you in this perspective. What if you're there? You catch a home run ball. You catch it. Nobody steals it from you, not like this lady. You thought something happened. If you catch the home run ball, are you giving it to a kid? Now, just a scenario. You catch a home run ball. Maybe you don't get to go to Major League games that much, right? Maybe you don't get to go. You go to Target Field. You go to Wrigley Field. You're going to Yankee Stadium. Maybe you don't get to go to games that much. If you catch a home run, are you giving it to a kid no matter what? That's my question of the day. What's the etiquette? Well, the etiquette surely wasn't this lady. It was bad behavior. Now, I do feel a little bad that the baseball lady got exposed so bad. I feel a little bad about that. Like, does her life need to be totally ruined because of her stupidity that night? Probably not. Let's just be real here. But that's how things happen. Things go viral. It goes crazy. Like, this isn't worse than the Coldplay couple, right? Having an affair and putting it on TV, right? That's a bad act. This was not a good act, but it was just a bad moment for her. Should she just be destroyed over it? So I feel a little bad about that, but I really watched it over the weekend. I thought, what is wrong with this lady? Is that our selfish culture? We just whine and complain and this is mine, it's mine. Give me a break. The dad gave it back to her because he probably looked deep in her eyes and thought, this isn't pretty. This a little off kilter. The wheel's spinning, but the hamster's asleep. You know what I mean? Might be a little off. What would you do? You catch a home run at a ballpark, Target Field, Wrigley Field, Coors Field. Do you give it to the kid every time? Be honest. Be honest on the text line. 605-720-1067. Do you give it to the kid every time? I'll tell you my answer coming up. Cody Rourke, Broncos beat writer for Mile High Sports. His reaction to the Broncos opener next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. So you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best, and they feel the difference every day.
Very happy with it. Very, very happy. I don't get tired of looking at them. And it's so nice with the breeze now opening the windows, the ease of sliding the windows back and forth. Notice that it is warmer in the wintertime, and it is cooler when the sun is shining in.
Renewal by Andersen Windows and Patio Doors, the customers say it best. Book your free estimate right now at RBARapidCity.com.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps one minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
The lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown Show.
All right, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, it is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Welcome in. Second hour rolling on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Some listener text coming in. Very interesting stuff on the etiquette at a baseball game because of this lady and the Phillies fan down in Miami over the weekend. She whined and cried and felt entitled to the ball, so she made the kid give it back to her. A bad move. That was a bad move. But if you catch a home run ball at Coors Field, wherever you go, should you always give it to a kid? I got a listener text coming in. Hang on, let me find this. 605-720-1067. Listener text. I'm giving it to my own kid. Otherwise, it's all mine. Whoa. I don't want to go to a game with that guy. That's a battle. By the way, should you give it to a kid? That's my question of the day all the time. I got another listener text saying all baseball should go to the kids at Major League Baseball games. Every baseball should go to the kid. I'm not so sure about that. I'll give you my take on it coming up. Let's talk football. Broncos opener. They win, but it wasn't pretty. Broncos are 1-0. Cody Rourke does a good job covering the Broncos. If you haven't listened to his podcast, it's Locked On Broncos. Find his work at milehighsports.com. We've had guys on from Mile High Sports throughout the years. Cody's the Broncos guy. Find him on X at Cody Rourke NFL. And he's here on the Nate Brown Show on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline. Cody, good to have you on. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for the time. Let's go into that thing yesterday. So I started my show with it, talked about some of the problems. What was your biggest, problem takeaway from yesterday? Offense struggled. Why?
Well, I just think, the offense didn't get into much rhythm. I think throughout the course of yesterday's game, all season long, the emphasis for Sean Payton was to come out here and try to establish the run. But first quarter comes out, at the end of it, you have 14 passing attempts compared to 3 rushing attempts. So hard to get in rhythm. when that is the trend that you've kind of built there, but it also is determined upon how the defensive front plays you. The Tennessee Titans came out, and obviously we know their defensive line is very good. They have talented guys in Simmons, Tavondre Sweat, Arden Key, Sebastian Joseph Day. That's a pretty good group of guys right there. But Denver, they had to check out of some things there. We talked to Sean Payton this morning on a conference call, and those are some of the things he indicated. But Bo Nix, 3 turnovers, that's not ideal as well, especially the 2 interceptions he threw. One kind of sailed on him. The other one was just trying to fit it across his body against zone coverage. You can't do that. You can't get away with that. I know he trusts in his arm strength, and he trusted a little too much there. And he obviously, I think turning the football over is definitely a trend that, you want to avoid with him. It's not something we're commonly used to seeing with Bo. He does a really good job of protecting the ball, but he didn't yesterday, and that led to, an array of struggles, and it put the Broncos defense in a really bad spot all afternoon.
So I felt like if that wasn't the Titans yesterday, the Broncos probably lose to most teams. What do you say?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you make that type of mistake against a team that has, even though the Broncos defense played as great as they did, you play better offensive units down the stretch. Let's say you give Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow that field position that Cam Ward and the Titans got. They're going to capitalize on it most of the time. Denver's defense is very good, but it's hard to expect them to sustain that, throughout the course of 18 games. And it's tough to ask them to say, hey, we're going to give the opposing team the ball where they only have 3 before scoring. And that's where, I think the week 1, you want to get it out of the way quickly here. Because Denver's schedule is going to get tougher. The Colts obviously coming off an impressive win against the Dolphins where, they dominated from the onset. Daniel Jones looked good inside that system, got some good pieces around him. How much of that is the Dolphins being bad and, how much of that is Daniel Jones maybe being more comfortable here. But then you play the Chargers, then you play the Bengals, then you play the Eagles. It's going to be a tough month here for Denver. So they got to get these issues shored up, I think, relatively quickly.
Broncos win 20-12. A defensive grinder. The defense was lights out. Cody Rourke's on tonight. Broncos beat writer from MileHighSports.com. His breakdown of the game is there. What did you think of the 4th down and 8 call? I didn't like it at all. I was stunned. I wasn't even drinking a beer yet. I had one later, but I was like, I didn't like it. And Sean said to you guys, well, I didn't want to scoop and score. That's the only way they were going to score, so we gave it a run. We had a play that we really liked. It's 4th and 8. It's tough to pick up 4th and 8 in the NFL.
Yeah, it is, especially when the Broncos couldn't even pick up a 4th and inches earlier on, like a series before that whole entire play had happened there. To be honest with you, that was probably the most mind-boggling thing that we saw in yesterday's game. We were all just thinking, okay, are they going to try to just get a hard count, get them to jump, and then move them up 5 yards to where it's 4th and 2, and it's an easier field goal. But I felt like they should have taken kicked the field goal anyways. The likelihood of it being blocked and scooped and scored was very, very unlikely, considering what we've seen and how not common that is in terms of field goals. Yes, it can happen, but the Broncos have not given an indication that would have happened to them. And then you get up, you get up 2 scores at that point if you kick the field goal, and then Cam Ward has to try to march down the field. So he kind of tried to justify it as saying, well, if we would have missed the field goal, they would have started on the same exact spot. It's like, just take the points at that standpoint. Right. That was a weird decision. I'm a little surprised he doubled down on it.
Yeah, I was stunned by that one. I did not see that coming. Broncos hang on to win. Cody Rourke's on tonight. Follow his work at Cody Rourke NFL on X and MileHighSports.com. So this defense, they played against Cam Ward in his debut. It was the Titans. But where do you think this defense really is? They led the NFL in sacks last year. They lead the NFL after week 1. How good is the defense?
The defense is as advertised. I've been watching them all summer long throughout training camp and the preseason. They're loaded. And I think our biggest concern coming into this game was, what is it going to be like without Drake Greenlaw, who obviously they signed in free agency. He's a coveted pickup for them. They're really excited to get him back here soon. But he's been dealing with a quad injury. So Justin Sternad filled in really nicely for him. Alex Singleton returned there. But the additions of Talanoa Hufanga was obviously big for Denver. Jaquan McMillan played really well inside the nickel. Riley Moss had a good game. And then when they tried to test Pat Surtain, it didn't work out. And he showcased once again why he's the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. And then Nick Bonito kind of made a case himself early on to be an early favorite here with how he played and the amount of pressures he generated. they're loaded at every level defensively right now. They've got really good depth, and I think if the offense can find a way to keep them off the field and go down and score points and sustain drives a little bit, I think this defense has a really, really good chance to supersede what we saw last year. And I think that there's a chance they could surpass the 63 sacks they had, obviously, in 2024.
Okay, Cody, I want to know. Our running backs look good to me. I like Dobbins. I thought R.J. Harvey broke that big one. That was really good. That was the longest rush from a Broncos running back going back 2 years here. So I think the running backs are good. Can Sean Payton change his play calling to run enough?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's what everybody's asking. That's what everyone's trying to figure out there because, Sean does at times, and he was like this in New Orleans or Drew Brees, was very pass happy. I mean, there's a reason why Alvin Kamara never really had 1,000 yards rushing. He was an 1,000 yards all-purpose back, but never a 1,000-yard rusher. So that, I think, is definitely a concern that Broncos fans have. There are times where it is play action, and you just want to hand the ball off and run it down because I agree with you. I think the Broncos have two backs that have good vision. They're explosive, can run through contact. They're capable of extending drives there and wearing down a defense. I think you need to be able to do that, wear down defenses, and find a way to put up points. But if you're going to be pass happy, I don't think that most quarterbacks that come into a game and throw 40-plus times, even 37-plus times a game, it's not an ideal recipe for success. I think usually those teams lose more often than they win. So the ground game's got to be imperative, and hopefully he can find a way to stick with it. But we've been asking that question now for 2 years, going on 3, so we'll see if he can finally curb that a little bit.
Cody Rourke joining us tonight, Broncos beat writer from MileHighSports.com. I saw you guys did a projection on the win totals. You went 11 wins, I think, if I'm right. You went 11 wins. Should Broncos fans be a little worried from yesterday when you watch the Bills-Ravens put up 40 points last night? You're going to have to score in today's NFL. Should the Broncos fans be worried?
I'd be concerned, not entirely worried just yet. Obviously week 1 I always feel like is so wild around the NFL. Last year you had the Patriots beating the Bengals in week 1. This year you saw teams get off to a sluggish start. You saw Justin Fields look pretty good against the Steelers defense. So I think there's just a lot of week 1 rust. A lot of these guys, around the league, most of them didn't even play in the preseason. I know for the Broncos, they played their starters in 2 games this year. Was it a large volume of overall plays? No, not really. So I still think that there's some rust being knocked off there. And obviously when you're implementing a new blocking scheme, you have all this. I just think that, I wouldn't be concerned yet, but you are right. If the Broncos, are going to be the team that they believe that they can be, that they can win the AFC West or get back to the playoffs, you're going to face the Ravens or the Bills more than likely, and you have to find a way to beat those teams, and those teams can put up points. As we saw, what was it, 40-25 at one point, yeah. And all of a sudden 4 minutes left, everyone's thinking, okay, hey, the Buffalo Bills, they got this the Ravens got this in the bag. The Buffalo Bills storm back and put up points like it's nothing. That, to me, is just what's scary about the NFL. Some of these other teams are ascending, I think, faster than you want them to, and the Broncos can't sit and hope and just wait that they can hopefully get there. They're going to have to obviously do some things and make some changes to be able to put themselves in a position to score, but more importantly, to also stop opposing teams like that. They're going to face some high-octane offenses this season. So we're going to find out exactly what this team is made of.
Last thing I want from you, Cody Rourke, on tonight covers the Broncos. To me, Sean Payton's offense, it's personnel-driven. There comes a new group, and now another group, and another group. He changed his personnel on a drive a ton. I know other teams do some of that. I didn't see the Bills doing a ton of it. No. I didn't see the Ravens doing a ton of it. Where's that? Is that something that's just ingrained in Sean Payton, and is that why the play clock is down to 5 all the time?
Yeah, no, I think you make a valid point there, and that's a valid gripe. I mean, you look at the teams like the Chargers, even the Chiefs. You mentioned those teams like the Ravens and the Bills. They roll with the guys that they have. They trust their base personnel. Of course, they'll rotate different looks in from time to time, but it's not as constant. It's not every play. It's not like a NASCAR package where you're rolling in all these guys, or you're just coming in and saying, okay, we're going to go with 1 tight end this play, and we're going to go with 3 receivers, and now we're going to go with 3 tight ends, and right. A couple of receivers. It's just the personnel thing. And my wife, she doesn't know much about football. She's learning it, and she's loving it. She even asked the same question. She said, why are they bringing in so many different people here? Doesn't that impact the offense? So if she's seeing that, we're all seeing that. So Yeah, I agree with you. That they're going to have to get that figured out here. I think that's definitely a concern early on, and hopefully Sean can go back and kind of readjust a little bit on that.
I always felt the Broncos and Bo Nix were the best in the 2-minute style last year. When I watched them, and when they weren't sending in new personnel all the time, Bo Nix had some good stretches there. Follow his work, milehighsports.com. Broncos beat writer in Denver, Cody Rourke, on tonight. Follow him if you're not Broncos fans. New guest on the show tonight at Cody Rourke NFL. Cody, I appreciate you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to next time.
Appreciate it. Cody Rourke on tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state. milehighsports.com. Broncos beat writer live from Denver. Good stuff. Good stuff. A quick timeout. Let's preview the game coming up half an hour away. Vikings, Bears, Frank Schwab, national NFL writer for Yahoo Sports, on the way.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
How do you make a buffet day even better? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade is your place for good food and good times. Won the big game? Make it a play day. Aced your test? Make it a play day. Just need to get out of the house? Make it a play day. The Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade has all your favorites and all kinds of fun. So bring your family, bring your friends, bring your team. For good food and good times, make it a buffet day and a play day at the Pizza Ranch and Fun Zone Arcade.
I started doing it once in a while. Just for fun in the car with my friends. And yeah, I knew it was deadly, even illegal, but I didn't care. I remember looking down, and she was crossing the street, and I saw her just before I killed her.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Whether you run the race, make the catch, cast a line, pitch a tent, or just look good doing it, Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields, we're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Stock up for your fall get-togethers at Mr. Liquor in Rapid City. This month's top brand specials include all flavors of Svedka vodka. Save $4.50 off a 175-liter bottle, now $17.49. Save $7 off Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, now only $23.99. Or take $6 off Jefferson Bourbon, just $28.99 for a $7.50. The new Mr. Liquor 2, off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet buys cars. You heard that right. We don't just sell cars, we buy them too. We make cash offers to purchase local cars, trucks, and SUVs every day. Tired of listing online? Tired of messages? Or just tired of making payments? Whatever the reason, make an appointment at rapidchevrolet.com for a no-obligation appraisal. It's fast and free. When you're ready to sell, we're ready to buy. At Danny Manholt Rapid Chevrolet, Rapid City.
Step into Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort for the thrill of winning big during their $120,000 Players Paycheck giveaway. Play now to qualify, and you could win a prize package every 30 minutes on Friday and Saturday nights. Then, there'll be not one, but 2 grand prize drawings. The first on Saturday, September 27th, and the second on Saturday, November 1st, where someone will win a $26,000 Players Paycheck. Only at Cadillac Jack's Gaming Resort. How will your night play out?
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Getting you ready for Monday Night Football tonight. Vikings, Bears coming up. The Nate Brown Show is on. South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Great guest lineup tonight. We talked Vikings Bears early on with Thor Nystrom from the Twin Cities. Covers the Vikings Score North. High school football recap with Jason Andera from SDPB Sports. Just went to Denver with Cody Rourke, Mile High Sports on the Broncos. Now let's go NFL. National NFL writer, Yahoo Sports. Check out their new podcast. They put that out there. It's good stuff. Frank Schwab is in tonight on the Nate Brown Show. Find him on X at Yahoo Schwab. Frank, welcome back in. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good, man. Let me get your reaction to week one so far. NFC-wise, did the Packers get your attention?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know that any team looked better in week one when you factor in the competition. I mean, Lions are a top-scoring team in the NFL last year, and the Packers basically shut them out. I mean, they, at least out of the end zone until a garbage touchdown in the last minute. Offense looked great. Jordan Love was really, really sharp. And this was without Micah Parsons really playing full-time. Like, he played a few snaps. He still got the back injury. He's still getting in football shape. If we assume Micah Parsons is going to be a full-time player a few weeks down the road, Packers only get better. It was just very, very impressive. He couldn't be more impressed with the Packers. They looked like, this could be the best team in the NFL. I mean, that's the level they played at. We'll see. It's just 1 week, but they look fantastic.
So did the narrative play out that the Lions, they lose Ben Johnson, they lose their D coordinator, Glenn? Did that play out, do you think? Do you think that impacts the Lions?
Maybe a little. I don't know. I hesitate to say that because I think the main problem with the Lions yesterday was they couldn't block, and that's not on the offensive coordinator. Like, at some point, Penei Sewell can't get beat repeatedly by Micah Parsons when he does play, and the interior of the offensive line can't just let guys through and smash David Montgomery in the backfield. I think the line was the bigger problem, but I get it. Like, I understand exactly why. Ben Johnson probably would have figured some things out quicker than John Morton did, and Aaron Glenn was fantastic defensive coordinator. Maybe when some Jaden Reed's running free in the Lions secondary, maybe that wouldn't happen. So yeah, I get it. Like, there's definitely something to be said about maybe that maybe they did miss the coaches yesterday, but I think this was just kind of a full team effort of just the Lions really falling flat.
Frank Schwab joining us tonight. Find him at yahoosports.com talking NFL. So Ravens-Bills was a classic last night. Josh Allen, unbelievable comeback. I've been a huge Josh Allen fan. I still think the Ravens are better. They were impressive to me. So are the Ravens still better than the Bills?
Maybe, but a game like this, when it's the only time you meet, the both of these teams are going to be among the top 3 or 4 seeds in the AFC, if not the top 2 seeds in the AFC. When the Ravens have to play at Buffalo in January, this is why. They blew that game. Like, are the Ravens going to be 2 games better than the Bills the rest of the way? Because they got to be. They get a better seed because the Bills have the tiebreaker. So it might not even really matter who's better. If that game's in Buffalo, you got to favor Buffalo at that point. I thought the Ravens, for 3 quarters, played really well. I thought they did everything they could have done at the end to just screw it up. They just played a miserable fourth quarter, coached a miserable fourth quarter. These teams are really, really close. They're really even. I think if the Ravens are better, it's slightly. But now the Bills are in a driver's seat to get that number 1 seed in the AFC, which is really, really big deal.
Are we going to be talking about the Chiefs here? Their debut, not great. What'd you make of it?
Yeah, there's some issues. One of the things is you lose Xavier Worthy on the 3rd play of the game. You don't have a chance to game plan around that. Like, you got to adjust on the fly. So that's just tough. It's tough when the whole passing game was going to be built around Xavier Worthy in that game. It had to be. He's really the only guy they had left standing. You have to change that. Hollywood Brown ends up getting 16 targets for 99 yards. That certainly wasn't their plan. But you look forward and you're like, okay, well, they get the Eagles this week. They got the Jaguars coming up. They got the Ravens coming up. They got the Lions coming up, all before Rashee Rice comes back. We don't know when Xavier Worthy's coming back. So it looked a lot like it has many times over the past 2 years where you just say, Patrick Mahomes is out there, and he has no help. He's just got to do this all by himself. He almost did. He almost dragged the Chiefs to that win, which was actually really impressive. But, yeah, I think Chiefs are in some trouble, but just because the schedule is just rough. Look at how many really tough opponents they play coming up without maybe either of their top 2 receivers. And, yeah, it could end up – look, they they lost one of their first 16 games last year. They could end up 3-4 losses by mid-October. Like, that's not out of the question. It's going to be really interesting to see how they respond.
I've talked to a lot of Broncos. My Broncos had a great elite defense. They were playing a rough Tennessee offense, but Sean Payton and the Broncos offensively not good. Did you get some alarms yesterday?
A little bit. I mean, Bo Nix was terrible. Like, I mean, there's no way around it. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no being nice about it. Bo Nix was one of the worst quarterbacks in week one. Like, he just was. Do I think that that's going to continue for the rest of the season? Probably not. I think it was just a blip. I think that, whatever. It's the first game of the season. Sometimes, because it's the only data point we have, we overemphasize. We worry too much about good performances, bad performances. His was really, really bad, but I think he's going to be fine. But yeah, I mean, I think any Broncos fan would be lying if they said they had zero worries about Bo Nix after that game. I mean, he was bad. The offense was bad.
Yeah, it was Tennessee, Frank. I mean, this is the Titans.
They were lucky they played Tennessee.
Right.
They might have lost to any other team in the NFL yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, this was Tennessee, and the Broncos just really squeaked by. How about tonight? Give me your take on J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. High hopes for the Vikings in Minnesota. Nationally, I don't hear it as much. The roster's good. The quarterback is a question mark. That's what everybody's wondering about. Who do you think gets after it tonight?
But wasn't Sam Darnold a question? Like, I fight back on this all the time. I'm actually somebody who's high on the Vikings because I look at it like this team won 14 games. They improved their roster. No, they're not going to win 14 games again. That doesn't mean they're going to be worse. It just means you don't win 14 games again because that's almost impossible to do in the NFL. So I sit here and I say the same people who are like the Vikings are going to come crashing to earth because they have a J.J. McCarthy quarterback are pretty much the same people who are saying, why did the Seahawks sign Sam Darnold? He stinks. Well, it's got to be one or the other. Like, either you think Sam Darnold is some secret superstar, or you think the Vikings are going to fall apart because they don't have him. I mean, I don't know why people haven't wrapped their head around the idea that maybe J.J. McCarthy is even better. Like, why is that so out of the realm of possibility? A smart organization traded up to draft him 10th. Like, I don't know. I don't automatically assume J.J. McCarthy is going to have some MVP type of season right away, but he's in the same environment Sam Darnold was, and Sam Darnold was really, really good in that environment. So I'm high in the Vikings. I expect them to win tonight. I expect them to really confuse Caleb Williams and a new offense with a bunch of blitzes, and I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be just fine. Jumping off the Vikings bandwagon because Sam Darnold isn't there anymore just doesn't make any sense to me.
We found the one national NFL guy who's high on the Vikings. I like it. Frank Schwab, yahoosports.com. Appreciate you, man. Thanks.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, mate.
Frank Schwab on tonight on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, yahoosports.com, national NFL writer covering Monday Night Football tonight. Coming up, Vikings at Bears. First, who's hot and who's not on the Nate Brown Show. I've got a Spearfish native. Yeah, he's from Spearfish. He just got a big job today in the world of sports. Who's hot and who's not coming up?
This is the Nate Brown Show.
At Dakota Bank, we're more than just a place to bank. We're your neighbors. From everyday banking to home mortgages, insurance, and trust services, we're here for every step of your financial journey. We believe in doing what's right for you because we live here, work here, and care about our communities just like you do. Go with confidence. Go with trust. Go with Dakota Bank. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Insurance and investment products are not FDIC insured, may lose value, and have no bank guarantee.
Mom, can we please go to Waitiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Waitiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Waitiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WaitikiWaterPark.com.
Hey sports fans, it's Rob from the Firehouse Skybox. We are Rapid City's premier sports bar with everything you want for the best game watching experience. Bring your crew and take in the action while enjoying our Firehouse craft beers, specialty cocktails, and a great menu of Firehouse burgers, nachos, and more. We have every game, every night on our 35 big screens, and there's not a bad seat in the house. Come and watch your favorite team at the #1 place for sports, the Skybox, right above the Firehouse, Main Street, downtown Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. Lows level off around 59. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, westerly winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Slight chance of thunderstorms. Tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 84, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Lows dip down to about 57. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently 73.
Ready to be part of something big? Meet the Rapid City Sports Commission, the powerhouse behind sports in Rapid City. The commission focuses on bringing regional and national tournaments, supporting homegrown events, and creating opportunities for our kids. But it's not just games, it's a win-win for all of us. Youth sports fuel our economy. Hosting events in Rapid City means out-of-town families shop, dine, and stay with us, which boosts sales tax revenues too. To get in on the action, visit rcsportscommission.com, where we're all about the hustle.
Remember when life was simple? Nope, me neither. The summer sun may feel great to us, but summer heat takes its toll on your vehicle. Don't risk your family's vacation fun by ignoring vehicle maintenance. When it comes to your vehicle maintenance or repair, keeping it simple is easy. The ASE certified technicians at Al's D&I can make sure your car is in top running condition. Maintenance now or fix it later. Most vehicles, most years, and most countries. Al's D&I can fix them. Check in at Al's D&I on Sturgis Road and online at alsdniautorepair.com.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
All right, welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio. Question of the day has been a popular one tonight. Would you give a kid a home run ball if you caught it in a Major League Baseball game? Would you give it to the kid every time? At my age, I would give it to the kid every time, as long as my kids aren't there. So if I have my kids there, I'm going to be holding on to that for... Okay, but if there's a kid around me, I see a little kid, he's got that twinkle in his eye, he's got a Cubs hat on at Wrigley Field, I am giving up the ball at Wrigley Field, even though I've only been there 3 times. I am giving up the ball. Take it for what it's worth. Who's hot and who's not? Let's go. Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch. Let's wrap up the show. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet. In my Who's Hot category, Spearfish native Slade Larscheid. Do you know this guy? He's from Spearfish. He was the AD at Sioux Falls Roosevelt, assistant AD at South Dakota State. He's moved his way up. Spearfish, hometown guy, Slade Larscheid, just been hired as the new athletic director at Ohio University. He's going to be running the show for the Bobcats at Ohio. I've known Slade over the years, had him on the show. Congrats to Slade Larscheid from Spearfish, new AD at Ohio. In our Pizza Ranch Who's Not category tonight, did you see this game last night where the Bills beat the Ravens? That was great. Loved every minute of it with Josh Allen. But then the Ravens scored a touchdown, and a fan in the Bills stadium pushed DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Jackson when they were running by the fans. He reached out and he hit him in the helmet and he pushed him. That fan has been banned from all NFL stadiums the rest of the season. I think that's the right call. Can't touch the players. Can't touch the players. Thanks for listening to the Nate Brown Show. We are in the books for a Monday. Vikings Skull! See you tomorrow.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the kid in grade school